So the through line of this SmackDown clearly was the Undisputed WWE Championship, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. And it looked for a while like they were going the expected route. And it looked like a clear path, but then there were some twists and turns. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean, and these are my assorted thoughts on the February 20th, 2026 WWE Smackdown. From Fort Lauderdale, or more specifically, Sunrise, Florida. Now, okay, let's start it with the opening promo segment. Cody Rhodes getting cut off by Jacob Fatu, and the two of them getting cut off by Drew McIntyre, who had bought a luxury suite. God, TKO isn't even comping tickets for their champions now. Get in the game, guys. At least it's better than when they come down to the ringside and they have their little fake ticket. Anyway, okay. The clear takeaway from this is that Jacob is not finished with Drew or with Cody yet, and it looks more and more like it's going to be a triple threat at WrestleMania. Most likely way this is going to happen is that Cody wins the Elimination Chamber, and then Drew gets his match again, and Jacob gets his match against Drew, and maybe there's like a weird decision or no contest, and it becomes a triple threat. Kind of like they did with the women last year, except hopefully we don't go back and forth of weeks and weeks of them, of Nick Aldis not being able to figure out the triple threat is the option to go. Looks like that's the way they're going. It also looks like Randy Orton is going to be facing Aleister Black, because they actually had Aleister get the victory here. I didn't even know that was going to happen, but it looked like that was the way they were going for WrestleMania. And that was the main event of this show. And we had the triple threat match with Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Damian Priest. And it looked like they were maybe setting up Trick to lose in the chamber and to challenge Melo at WrestleMania, because they did have the interchange reviving their old NXT feud. I also found it hilarious that at one point, like he's talking to Melo like he hasn't accomplished anything, not even realizing that Melo's the U.S. champion. Like, Trick Williams is interesting. But now let's throw the whole, well, let's start with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn coming in dejected and calling out Cody for taking advantage of Sami trying to help him. He ate a crossroads and got the advance to the chamber last week. And then Cody yells at Sami, basically saying, you're the only thing keeping you down. Kind of like how he was talking about Kevin Owens before when they were like friends. And then eventually Kevin Owens did turn heel on him. And then Sami, after being chewed out by Trick, went and caught up to Cody and apologized. And the crowd started booing when Sami was apologizing. Like Sami, like I think they wanted to see Sami, like, I don't know, turn heel or just maybe calling out Cody. I think that's what they wanted him to do. So then fast forward to the main event, and the reason why Randy Orton lost is because Drew McIntyre came out of nowhere and attacked him. So there is another theory I have going in my head, maybe in the chamber, because you know the people always sneak into the chamber. Somehow Sami Zayn sneaks into the chamber, screws over Cody Rhodes. And then Randy Orton, who also clearly is at odds with Drew now, ends up winning the chamber, or Trick Williams, maybe that would be the other one. And they go on to WrestleMania to fight Drew, possibly, most likely in a triple threat with Jacob, and leaves Cody Rhodes facing Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I mean, I think that would, I don't want there to be a Sami Zayn heel turn, but maybe it's a Cody Rhodes heel turn. I mean, they'd have to want to, give up all their merch money from the little kids if Cody Rhodes is the bad guy. But, I could see that, like, they left. I mean, I still think we're going with the planned route, the one I talked about first, but it looks like there are other options and they're keeping it open. And this was actually really interesting. I could see option B or option C happening. Also, one thing I noticed is that I noticed this in Saudi Arabia. I clocked it there, but like Saudi crowds might not be typical. But then it looks like Randy is more, at least not with like merch sales or the kids or anything, but in the buildings, even in the States, Randy is more over as a babyface than Cody. So I think people might want to see Randy win the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania. It won't be the main event, but I don't think the undisputed WWE Championship is going to be a night one main event even. It's probably going to be the opening match of WrestleMania. Night two main event is clearly Punk and Roman. I guess we'll see, but this SmackDown did show a bunch of potential other interesting outcomes. Okay, I took some notes. So a few quick notes. I kind of like Solo Sikoa's theme now. Da 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 da. Taking it all. Da, like Solo's really growing on me. His theme's growing on me. At first I thought it's like a terrible Death Rebel theme, but it just something about it. I'm starting to like it. Tama Tonga and Ilya Dragunov was a good match. Of course, Tama won with some cheating. They're doing some interesting stuff with Tama Tonga, especially later in the show. Are they going to have Tama break out on his own? You'd think he's already pinned the U.S. champion. He should be the one to have the next championship match, but Solo seeming to push that off. Also, they might be bringing back in the Wyatts, or at least hopefully Solo and Uncle Howdy is going to be the last of the MFT Wyatt feud because that's been going on for far too long. Other little notes here. Jade Cargill's promo was, I think, kind of it was a promo, a typical promo, but I think it was some market research for the WWE creative team, or try to get confirmation. Also, her little interaction with Charlotte Flair was like, would you maybe want to see this? Would you want it? But Rhea Ripley's clearly the choice. I think that had a dual purpose because it wasn't, I mean, it was a typical promo. It was just to get her out there. But Charlotte doesn't have an easy path to Jade because she lost the women's triple threat match against Nia Jax and Kiana James. I got to say, I did not realize I was going to enjoy this match as much as I did. This was a really, really fun match, a really well done match. Okay, the finish was creative, but it was a little bit clunky in execution when Kiana slid under Charlotte to turn her submission hold into a pin. It looked a little bit awkward, but putting that aside, Kiana James, she like lifted up Nia Jax, which isn't easy. I didn't know she was that strong, and she looked really good in this match. I even started thinking, wait a second, they might surprise us, because I was there live for the surprise in Montreal where she ended up getting the pin in the women's tag team qualifier match. So I was thinking, I started to see like maybe she might actually win this, and yeah, she actually did. I'm impressed with Kiana James. I think they're kind of using this to maybe set up a rift between her and Julia. Who knows? Maybe at Mania. I don't think she's going to win the Chamber. She's going to be in the Chamber. But maybe she's going to end up going after Julia's United States Championship. And I'm glad that, because that means the Women's United States Championship, not just the champion, will be on WrestleMania. It'll be defended. Also, Kiana brings this like giant purse or briefcase thing to the ring, and she's a heel. How come she never uses that as a weapon? It seems like the most logical thing. Also, I kind of want her to win Money in the Bank, not because I want her being a champion, but because I want to see if she actually brings the Money in the Bank briefcase and her own briefcase to the ring at the same time. Total sidebar, but yeah, impressed now with Kiana James. Speaking of Julia, Rhea Ripley's match with Julia was pretty much, it was a good match, fun match to watch. It was great for the live crowd to get to see Rhea Ripley against Julia, but of course it was just there for the ending, for the schmoz finish with Nia and Lash coming out and Io to set up their match next week for the tag team championships. And honestly, the way Rhea was talking, I think Io's going to make it into the Chamber, but I kind of think they were a little too cocky. I think they might actually be going with the Rhea winning the Chamber and Io going for something, maybe a triple threat. I think they might lose the women's tag team championships, but it's still going to be a big match at WrestleMania. I still think we're going to have like a TLC match or a ladder match with a bunch of the teams, but I think Rhea and Io might not be in it. It looked kind of like they were setting that up. Well, side note here, I kind of think that I would like to see Obafemi actually try and write a poem. I'm glad they're not. I'm glad they're not doing him and Kit Wilson anymore. I think Kit Wilson should be doing other things. And I chuckled when I saw I outright laughed when Oba somehow ended up getting Miz to agree to a match, thinking he was just going to follow like I'll show you the ropes. I'm like, wait a second, why are you talking to Aldis? No, I didn't say a match. The Miz is someone Oba should be squashing. I was waiting for that to happen, and it's happening. Also, I'm kind of getting the impression Obafemi might be headed more for SmackDown. He seems to be doing a lot more there. I mean, maybe they'll try him out on Raw a little bit, but I think SmackDown is his destination for the foreseeable future. Always nice to see Chelsea Green out there. I love it. She's still rocking the FDR look. But the actual match, Tiffany Stratton versus Alba Fire, I like that they're having that. I like that they're continuing this sort of Tiffany and the Chelsea Green orbit. I still fantasy booking a match between the two of them at WrestleMania. Now, the ending was predictable, but honestly, I was thinking this match looks really stiff in a good way. Like very like almost shooty. Like these two could go there. Like it felt like a fight, like a random match like that. Felt like Alba Fire can fight, and Tiffany Stratton. You know what? I'm kind of thinking she might be someone to have on your team in a bar fight. Like she's got the character aside. Like she looks like she's a bit of a scrapper. She was with Charlotte Flair, and I surprisingly enjoyed this match, even though the outcome was what I expected. Oh, and yeah, one more thing. Johnny Gargano lying on top of the mystery crate. I laughed. I thought that was hilarious. The visual. I mean, this whole new Johnny Gargano lying down in places character, it's interesting. See where they're going with it, but on top of the crate, that was actually quite funny. Well, these were my assorted thoughts on the February 20th, 2026 WWE Smackdown. Do you agree with my takes? Do you disagree? Do you somewhat agree, somewhat disagree? Let me know what you think in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Also, jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Bluesky. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event prediction and review videos, and assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. I'll be back with my assorted thoughts on Raw, and I think it's about time I do my Elimination Chamber predictions, so those are coming up. Until then, though, for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.